letting it loose. Right, we should be good. We should be live. Right. Hello everyone. Welcome back to DTM for round 5 here at Blue Moon Bay. I think, for the benefit of racing, we're not going to have Tamworth in today's race, so the grid's going to be pretty much blown out of order, because usually these past few races it's been Tamworth on pole. So pole position is up for anyone today. And looking at the times, I think it's going to be a pretty close quali. So quali just started, and yeah, we're doing the qualifying right now. But we do have some tribute liveries. Obviously, it's been a pretty tragic week for motorsport in general, with the loss of Antoine. So we do have a few liveries dotted around, with the likes of Jos in the 911 rocking the tricolore, not a tricolore, the French flag. I don't know what you call it, the special term. But he's rocking a French flag with obviously the racing for Antoine on the side there, It's a nice little gesture from him, and I think everyone on the grid does have a tribute to the young Frenchman. So yeah guys, who do you think is going to get pole for today's race? I don't know, really. I was in the practice race on, I think, Monday, and the pace of the likes of Tom, Kajai 86, who's currently P7, Pepe as well, who's currently P3, were very quick on both races, so I don't know. I think if I had to bet, I think I would put it on Russell, because he has consistently been second, and without Tom, I feel like he'll be in the money for pole position today, but who knows? It's very close. It's very short track, this. Yeah, and Tom also is rocking a Antoine livery as well. It's nice gestures just to see it, you know, on the liveries. So far, Russell is 3 tenths up on Dosis in P2 with a 107.089. Comes in for some fresh tyres. Dosis in P2 in the BMW, who is just under 1.5 tenths back from Yos, who's in the 911. Pepe, who's in the Audi. I think I raced the Audi in the practice race, and I thought it was an alright car, but I think it's the full drive which lets it down. In the cornering, I feel like something like the 911 is a better car. But what do I know? I'm just a commentator. As Jos runs wide there into that fast right-hander, compromising his lap there for the Dutchman. But yeah, Soos, who's been consistently quick this season in the BMW, he could be in potential running for pole position today. Ozone in the Mercedes, a fellow countryman. See what kind of lap time he puts in. Yeah, he goes quicker by 4 tenths there, but he's 1 second adrift from pole position. So he's going to have to find quite a fair bit of time there. And then we have Kazi in the NSX. A very nice sounding car that. I do like the NSX. That and the Porsche are the two of my favourite liveries. Favourite sounding engines. Change the rules there. Fuel depletion down to ×7. That's probably scrap the times, isn't it? But I don't want to enter, I just want to spectate, boys. Yeah, it has. Oh, that's such a shame, that. So we're going to have to restart qualifying again. See, what Russell's doing there is he's burning fuel, I think. Bouncing the car off the rev limiter. So we have a 15-minute qualifying session now to see what the grid will look like for round 5 here at Blooming Bay. But before we had the fuel depletion changed, it was Russell who was on provisional pole, and I believe Dosis in P2. I think P3 was Pepe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, look out for those 3 drivers, they'll all be in the running for today's race. But yeah, it's right on board here for Russell for his first lap, his first flying lap. This first corner here is very, very tricky. It's coming straight off the banking down to a completely flat surface, and the car gets very unsettled, like there. You can see the front end darting around. And then you're back up onto the banking for a short little lift into this fast left-hander, as I have to think. And then into another, oh, as he loses the rear there. He must have downshifted too many gears, or he just threw the car in a bit too much there. And that has compromised his lap. But I do believe the guy behind him, Ozone, was on a fast lap. So let's see what lap he can do. The fellow Mercedes driver. And also Manta as well, I believe. Was Manta runs wide into the final corner. Is he going to hold up Ozone? He doesn't, gets out of the way. And Ozone comes around the final corner. And let's see what lap time the Brit can do in his Mercedes. I think pole position will today be around the 107 mark, so if he can get anywhere near that, it will be a good lap. A 108.7. Not bad. He can find time in that lap time for sure. He's a quick driver. So, and Dosis in the BMW flies into T1 and sets a quicker lap time, a 107.8. Anywhere below 107.7, 107.6 will be probably a good pole time. I think that's what the likes of Russell will be able to do. I think Russell came with a fresh set of tyres, I believe, on his outlap here, so once again we'll ride along with the Brit for his flying lap. Let's see if he can set a relative time compared to the rest of the grid. Currently sat in P6 with no time. But he comes out onto the banking to start his first lap. His first attempt didn't go too well. With a spin in the first sector. Hopefully he should nail T1, and he does so, getting the car slowed down. And we're going to roll the car back up onto the banking. And you really want to be hitting the inside white bit of that curb there. Is the best way to get the car through there. Once again, hitting the white bit on the curb there. Track limits isn't that harsh to you around here, so you can trying to see if I can switch the camera to the rear, but so I can't. We'll leave it on variable, it doesn't make much difference. But Russell with a very tidy lap, 2 temps up, 3 temps up nearly, on Suzuki's fastest lap, which is a 107.3, which is a very, very, very good lap. As I drop my controller there. But Russell runs up to the line. It's probably going to be like a 107.1. Maybe even into the 106s. 107.1, there you go. Just over 1.5 temps. Clear of the Hungarian in the BMW. Look how unsettled the car gets for that corner. Getting a bit of lift off oversteer there. And you really want to be getting right up to the wall, and then darting to the Y curve on the inside there to get the most speed out of the car. Nearly 2 temps up. And you want to be doing the same, hitting the white bit of the curve, getting back on the power. And braking just at the end of the shadow here for the bridge. Does so perfectly, getting the car turned in, hooking up with that apex, full throttle, and then braking just after the 50, hitting that outside curve for the best run. Once again taking a lot of curve for this sector here. As you see, he is down, taking all the white. He's going to run a bit wide. I don't think he'll complete this lap. I think he knows that. With fresh tyres he can get a better sector 2 as he dives into the pits here to do just that. So who else is out on track here? Susk, I believe, in the... What's happening there? So do we currently have a lap? I think Pepe is on a lap. So let's run on board with the Hungarian in his Audi. I think he's on a lap. Doesn't say he's on his out lap, so see what kind of lap time he can do. I think a top 5 finish, I mean a top 5 quali would be pretty good for him. Consistently scoring points in the past few races. "11 seconds down." Well, he's definitely not saying a quick lap. I should have seen that the time was pretty far off, but still. Kazi, I don't think that's a quick lap. I can't tell. He's 8/10ths down, so he will be improving. He'll probably jump Pepe for P5 if he can get a good sector. Running the car close to the banking to minimise time travelled, I guess. Running up to the line, what kind of lap time can Kazi do? I think he backed off there. It looked like he backed off from that straight. I'm not too sure. But. And who was that lighting up the sector times? Was that Dosis or was that Jos in the Porsche? We'll have a look. So Dosis is currently up by just under 1.5 tenths as he scrapes the wall on the outside there. Doesn't really cost you much time unless you fully hit it. If you scrape it and a few sparks come off, you should be alright. Runs the car right to the inside to minimise his shortest line. Where's he going to go? He does improve, but he doesn't jump up into P3. Gets further clear of Jos in the 911. But so far, Russell on pole position here. And Susk. Is Susk gone for a quick lap? I did see it was a green sector time. So will he be able to close the gap to Russell? It does so, but just 5 thousandths. Every little margin helps, but 5 thousandths is a gain, but it isn't great. He runs wide, very wide there. Hits the barrier. And yeah. But he's gone quicker in that first sector by just under 1.5 tenths. So is he going to complete this lap, or is he going to dive into the pits at the end of it? I have to wait and see, but very good though, and used tyres for Susk to get just a purple sector. Can he complete this lap off and get himself onto pole position? Provisional pole, that is. He's down, see? So I think the worn out tyres, you really do lose a lot of time in that second sector. He's going to complete the lap as he comes up to the line. Do have a yellow flag ahead. Who was that? Was it Manta because he's just coming out of the pits? I don't know who that was. But it is good though. The grid is only separated by a 1.4 seconds, which is much better than previous races. Which is good to see, because it's good to see that the field is competitive. From P5 though, downwards to Spud in P10, the gap is only, what, it's 5 tenths. So you could either be on the back row of the grid here, or you could be on the third row. So you know, it's small gains, but it can gain you quite a fair few positions on the grid. So Russell, I completely missed that lap there, guys. Sorry. He's still a bit clear of Seuss. Gap now just under 4 tenths to the Hungarian in the BMW. But we'll see what kind of lap Doses can do in the BMW. Flies into T1. That corner is very fun if you get it right, but it's not fun if you don't. And Doses absolutely nails that. So running the car up to the wall and throwing it into that left-hander. He is down on his personal best here. So whether he'll push on or back off. We have just got under 2 minutes of the session to go. But it's going to be a close race, you know. Doses and Russell only separated by just under half a tenth, so they're going to be battling with each other here. But Seuss is on a personal best in the second sector. Will that fellow BMW get out of the way? Manta in the 6 Series, has he held them up at all? You know, ideally you get out of the way as he loses the rear end there. It's going to compromise his time. He is up, but whether if Manta compromised him or not, he will get a nice toe though coming up the banking here. He will gain a few more hundredths, but I don't think it's going to be enough to put him on the first row of the grid. Tucks right into the slipstream with that BMW. And he goes... Oh, he's only just missed out by under half a tenth. That toe really did help him on that back straight there. Such a shame. But that first top 3 though, it's just under a tenth. But, you know, 2 cars, 2 manufacturers in with the running here to take pole position. If they can get one more lap in to seal the deal. Because overtaking around here can be done, but it is quite a challenging circuit to do so. You have to really pick your opportunities well. For example, an overtaking to T1, it can be done, but it's just such a hard corner to get. Just in general by yourself, let alone have a car beside you. I mean, look how much it unsettles the car there, that BMW getting all out of shape. But his Doses is going to try and set another lap time here in the BMW. So it's only half a second down, but he's going to miss out on that toe. There's no cars ahead of him. If he can absolutely nail his second sector, and he'll be on for a pole position. Keeping very, very close to that inside curve there, getting a very good exit. Braking just after the 50, but very nicely done there from Doses. He's just under a tenth down, as he gets an amazing final corner. Don't think he's going to be on pole position here. I think it is going to be Russell, unless Seuss can take pole position here. But he's backed out of it, and I think unless Kazi can do something amazing here, he pulls into the pits. Oh, but I do believe everyone's parking up the grid, and that is qualifying over, my friends. I think Russell has got it. In the Mercedes, the Brit taking, I think this is first pole position, if I'm not mistaken. Very good work from the Brit there, capitalising when Tamworth is not here. Seuss doing donuts on the final, on the back straight there. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is your grid. Let's have a look at it. it is Russell, I believe, on pole position. And then saying that, Kazi has just gone quickest in the first sector here. But Kazi's on an out lap, so I don't know what's happening there, if the times have glitched out. But I do think Russell has pole position in the bag here. Just waiting for the session to end, really. Yeah, the final has begun. So it's Russell on pole position for this 30-minute endurance race here at Blooming Bay. He's going to have... It's not going to be a walk in the park though. He's going to have the likes of Dosis and Susk bearing down his neck for the entirety of this race as they flash the lights to get going here at Blooming Bay. Just be under 30 laps here for this endurance race. As we run down to the start, it's lights out, and it's an amazing start from Russell. It's a terrible start for Susk, and Tom, with a lightning start, jumps up into P2 and steals that front row away from him. What a great start from the Brit there. But Russell, the commanding lead already, gets out of T1 very well, and now will set about trying to build a gap to the people behind him. Tom going defensive into that corner, it's going to compromise his line, and Dosis is on the inside there. And he gets slapped with a 0.5 second time penalty. He's going to have Seuss on his inside. He's going to go for a lunge into T1. He does think about it, but he's on the inside there. Whether he can do a switchback move on the inside, and the two BMWs going wheel to wheel here. But this is going to be a slipstream fest now in this back straight. Tom, if he can, I think he will be okay. Just under 6 tenths, 7 tenths clear now. And Dosis, who's been under attack here from Seuss. Seuss pulls to the outside. He's going to try and sweep around the outside into T1. Can the Hungarian do it? The same machinery, it's going to be who's going to be late on the brakes here. And Seuss sweeps around the outside and takes P3 away from him. Tom, I think, one ride there. Looked like he ran wide. I can't get my words out. Ran wide on that corner, but he is in one piece. So what is Russell's race pace going to be like then on those super soft tyres? All the drivers are on super soft tyres, I believe. If we run through the grid there, looking at the bottom left, oh, it's Aspired on soft compound tyres there, so maybe he's going to be trying a potential one stop if he can stretch them out long enough. But it's also going to be another thing, fuel. Fuel is pretty rich around here, so that will deplete. I mean, they've only done 2 laps and it's already 3/4 of the tank down, so they'll be looking to save as much fuel. As Tom was caught right up to the back here of Russell. Is Russell saving tyres or is he saving fuel here? The Brit in the Mercedes has another Brit behind him and another Mercedes, and he has 2 BMWs for company. Oh, Seuss with a big slide out of that corner there. It's going to leave him vulnerable. They all fly through the hairpin. But Tom closing down on Russell here. He's within slipstream range. He could have a go on the next lap. If he gets a good enough run out of here, which he does so. The Mercedes, an all-round very good car. Very good on its tyres and fuel. With Russell weaving around on the straight there to try and break the toe from his fellow countryman behind. As he closes the gap to just under 5 tenths, he's going to be late of the 2 breakers. And Tom gains a 10th for that corner, which is very good from him. Just tuck into the slipstream behind and look for an opportunity in the 3rd sector. I think Russell is quicker in the second sector, I believe. As you can see, the super soft tyres are already starting to show signs of wear there. Tom and Russell have pretty much exactly the same tyre wear, but fuel-wise, Russell has a tiny bit more. So is he doing a bit of fuel saving in this first stint of the race here to increase his lead after the first round of pit stops? Seuss with the fastest lap of the race, a 107.2 in the BMW. Done on lap 2 there. No one has been able to beat that. I don't think anyone will be at this stage with the tyre wear going down. See, look how much Tom closes up in the first sector. It's very, very good from the Brit, but through the second sector and the last corner, he's unable to get a good drive. As Russell leads the pack round. Dosis in P4, Ozone in P5, Kazi P6, Manta in P7, Yoss in P8, and we've got a battle at the back here between Pepe and Sir Spud. Spud trying to hang around the outside there with the Audi R8, but Pepe is having none of it. Battle right at the back of the grid here, and Sir Spud is off the racing track. So back to the front, Russell has a gap of just over 3 tenths, and look at Tom. He's caught right up to the back of his fellow Mercedes there. He's going to try and hang on around the outside, it's very risky to do so. But look how close he is now. It's the closest he's been for the first sector, and he's very strong for the first sector, so it's going to be interesting to see. A bit wide out that corner though. But look in the background, you've got the likes of Seuss, who is starting to reel in these front two here, very slowly. But if you look on the tyre wear, in the bottom left hand corner you'll see that Seuss has a bit more tyre wear on the right front and right rear, which will mean his traction out of that first corner is going to be very critical. He will need to limit how much he throws that car in, because if he throws it in too much he'll just spin out and he'll lose his podium position at the moment. So we do have a battle for the lead here. 1.6 seconds covers the top 3, and Tom now starting to think about the BMW, which is lowering in his nose. But it's good to see this battle here. Battle for the lead. With 22 minutes left on the clock. And look how much Tom is now right on the back of Russell here. Seuss has gained probably about half a second, I'd say, in the BMW. Can he potentially be looking at his first win of the season? But it's that final sector where Russell is very, very quick. But as you can see, looking at the fuel, Russell, I believe, is short shifting, or using a lower engine fuel mode. And Tom is in for his first pit stop here. Off come the old super soft tyres, and refuelling, probably to bring the tank at 100 litres. Where will he come out relative to Pepe? He will come out ahead, just about. That was crucial for Tom if he can get out ahead of those two. Means he's in clearer, which means he can push now and try and see if he can do the undercut on Russell here, as Russell is coming to the end of the lap. Will he dive into the pits to cover off the undercut, or will he stay out on those tyres? He has got a bit more fuel than Tom, remember, before he came to the stop. I mean, if you look at Seuss will definitely be coming into the pits this lap. He's on red light there. And his tyres are warm as well, so Russell, if he comes in this lap, will get a bigger gap to Susk, but he does stay out. The Brit stays out the extra lap. Extra 2 laps actually, and the Susk comes in on pretty much 0 fuel. So where's he going to count relative to Tom? Tom flies by on the back straight. And takes net P2. So Russell, I do believe, will come in this lap. Whether he's lost the lead to Tom, it's going to be interesting to see. As we just tick over to 20 minutes left of this race, 1/3 of the race done, and so far Russell leads this one. But it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out after these round of pit stops as he dives into the pits here. All the overcut pay off here. Whereas Tom, we're coming around the final straight here. Can Tom jump Russell in the pits? Russell is still sat in the pits, he's not going to get out ahead, and Tom will take the lead here of this race at Blooming Bay. And Russell will come out 3.3 seconds adrift of his fellow Brit, and that's a big gap to gain, but he's on fresher tyres. And if you look at the fuel, Tom has about 66% around that. But Russell is on a fuel tank of fuel, so he's going to be going longer into the stint, and he's going to try and stretch those super softs. But what Tom needs to do now is just really push. He either needs to really push or save a bit of fuel, just try and claw that fuel deficit gap, because fuel and tyres will be the main thing here. Mainly more fuel, because it is I'd say it would be a 2-stop race, stopping on lap 20 and then stopping on lap 10 and then going from the end from there. But as you can see, Russell has closed the gap by 5/10 as they come across the line here. It's going to be a very, very interesting few laps here to see if he can get up to the back of Tom and potentially pass him for the lead here. But as we see for Tom, it is a pretty hard track to overtake in trying to get past Russell early on in the race. There's just very, very few places he can get past. But so far, Jos doing well in P4. He does have Dosis right behind. Dosis will go for a move into this hairpin, let the 2 breakers. As Dosis swings down the inside, is Jos going to try and cut back, and he can't do so. Dosis moves up to P4. But the gap to lead, 2.9 seconds. I suppose the second stint will mainly be one of fuel saving and tyre saving as well. I mean, if you look at Russell's fuel compared to Tom has just under half a tank of fuel, whereas Russell has 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so Tom has track position, but strategically Russell has somewhat still a chance of winning this race if he can stretch out those super softs to under 10 minutes, which I think he will be able to do so. Tom might have to make another stop on top of his next stop, because he's probably going to have to pit before 10 minutes. And these super softs can go around 9 minutes, I'd say, so he's going to be racing on very, very worn rubber right at the end of the race. So it will be interesting to see who comes out on top here. Russell will easily make it under 10 minutes with those set of tyres and that amount of fuel as well, so don't discount Susk as well. Susk has more fuel than Tom, but not as much as Russell, so he's still there thereabouts. He could be wanting to take P2 away from Tom if he gets overtaken, but this is all hypothetical at the moment. I'm just thinking ahead into the future. So the gap for these top three, 4.3 seconds as they run across the line. Tom's gap is slowly coming down as that worn rubber starts to play into Russell's hands here. As he runs wide and scrapes the barrier, he's going to lose a bit of time there. A little mistake there from Tom, that's cost him a bit of time. And all the while, Russell and Susk are closing the gap to the leader. The gap now 3.9 seconds. Made that 3.8. So if I was in Tom's situation now, I would be wanting to do a bit of fuel saving in this middle sector and last sector, and then putting the car up to full power mode for the back straight. But, you know, just to save a tiny bit more fuel, because I don't know whether he's going to be able to go under 10 minutes. 3 minutes 50 to go, that's 3 laps and a bit more, and that is not 3 laps worth of fuel there. He's got under a quarter of the tank, 20%. Whereas Russell, on the other hand, here's 50%. So, and is closing the gap to Tom on fresher rubber and more fuel. It's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. So rejoin the action. Lap 16, Tom with just over a second gap to Russell behind. And Susk, who has been putting the laps as well, has closed the gap just to over 2 seconds. So these top three now separated by not a lot. And if you look at the tyre and the fuel situation, Tom will be stopping this lap. There's no way he can do another lap with that amount of fuel, and he can't get over he just can't get under the 10-minute mark, which is crucial. So the next stint he's going to have to save a lot of fuel, and he's also saved his tyres as well. As he dives into the pits here for a second stop of the race, and a stop which will make the outcome of this race very significant, as he's going to have to stretch these tyres to the end. And he's also going to have to do a bit of fuel saving as well, whereas Russell and Susk will have to do more fuel saving. But if you look at Russell, he has over a quarter of the tank of fuel. and he's probably thinking he can definitely go on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute mark? 10 minute mark. Whereas Susk, I think he may have to dive in as well, so Susk will be coming in this lap. But Russell, he can stay out another 2 if he really wanted to. But if I was Tom now, I'd be saving fuel. I'd be saving fuel these 2 laps whilst these guys are out. He's still got the net race lead. And he needs to save fuel if he wants to keep the lead, because he's going to have to make another pit stop if he can't do. So Susk will be diving in the pits this lap, pretty much coming on an empty tank. He'll be okay, he can go to the end there, 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go. So we're out, here's Tom. Tom, flying around the final corner there. Comes out ahead of Susk. Oh, just about though, on Susk. 1.9, just over 2 seconds will be the gap, just under 2 seconds, sorry. But will Russell start another lap? I think he will. You know, he's probably thinking he can go further on these tyres, and he's well under the 10 minute mark, so he can pit now. And he won't have to make a longer stop as Tom, because he has more fuel, which means he won't have to sit in the pits for longer, filling up on more fuel. But he decides to stay out. It's completely fair enough. His race, I'm just a commentator here. Ooh. So, Russell, coming round the final few corners here. He will be diving into the pits for his final stop, and that will be his final stop, but for the likes of Tom, he is just under 3/4 of a tank. And he's got the BMW of Susk right up his gearbox here. So it's going to be very interesting to see where everyone comes out relative to each other. I think Susk might be P2. I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. He does fill up with fuel. As the 2 drivers come around the final corner here, onto the back straight, will Tom be able to maintain his lead? Russell is still in the pits, but Russell is away. They're going to come out, and does Russell jump, and they're going to be ghosting on the exit here. Can Tom swing around the outside? It's going to be very, very close. They go side by side into T1. There's contact between the 2 drivers, and Tom is in the wall there. Susk takes P2 and snatches away that 2nd place. He's now right on the back of Russell, the front 3, having a great race here. And for the first time, Susk is up into P2 this race. The question is, it's now going to be a case of who can save the most fuel. It's going to be one of those races. Whether Tom can get to the end, he's going to have to save fuel. If I was him, I'd just be putting that car into power mode 2, because he needs to save fuel in short shift, you know, tuck into the slipstream. Whereas Russell and Susk don't have to worry about that as much. Russell trying to break the slipstream there from the Hungarian behind. But I do believe that is what Tom is doing. I think he has put the car into a low engine mode. And he's trying to save fuel here, which is completely fine, because he needs to do it if he wants to finish then a podium is better than, for example, I don't know, P6, P7. If that's where he finishes, if he has to put the car into that really annoying engine mode where it just limps, you're trying to apply power but it just won't go because you have pretty much no fuel in the tank, running on empty. And as you can see, the gap 1.3, 1.2 seconds. So he's dropped off the back of these two guys, but he's saving fuel, and that's the correct thing to do, But Russell now in the lead of this race, fake diving into the pits there, trying to break the slipstream from Sus behind, the Hungarian, who sets a personal best. As you can see, the fuel now starting to balance out a bit there. Tom just under half a tank and Sus just over half a tank, so he is gaining on that fuel. Whether he can get back up to the front two is another question. So we have probably about 4 laps to go, including this one. And the battle for the lead is still not over. Can Sus mount a last lap ditch attempt to get the lead off Russell here in the dying stages of this race? It's been a very good race to watch though, and it has boiled down to 2 drivers in contention for the race win. I think Tom has decided, he needs to save fuel and get to the end of this race. Which is completely fair enough. It's what I would be doing. I would be saving fuel, managing tyres to guarantee that podium spot. Very sensible drive from him there. But for the race lead, it's still not over. And the likes of Russell and Sus going wheel to wheel. 4 minutes to go here at Blooming Bay. Oh, and Tom has made a mistake. He's gonna hold on to P3 because P4 is quite far behind, but made a mistake there. And that's got to hurt his tyres as well. Lucky he had that gap to ozone. Those front 3 were lapping in a lot better, in a much higher pace. So Tom got off lucky there. He does have a 5-second gap. I don't think Ozone's going to be able to close that down, because I think Tom has done enough to save fuel, but got off lucky there. But now Russell opened up a gap of 1.6 seconds as we come into the final 3 laps here of this Blooming Bay race. A race which left us potentially with 3 race winners just 5 laps ago, but Tom obviously needing to save fuel dropped off the front 2, and Sus, I think, is potentially saving fuel as well, so Russell now. 1.6 second gap, 1.7 second gap to Sus behind. Tom has the gap relatively under control there. He needs to keep it together for these last 2 laps and he will have a P3 in the bag. But that front right is hurting bad. But Russell has a bit of a buffer now to Sus behind. He can afford to go to flat out. It's been a very good race from him. Very consistent, and he's done everything he's needed to hopefully grab onto this race win. Don't want the commentator cursing. So this will be the final lap then for this race as we enter lap 26. And Russell with a 2.2 second gap to Seuss behind in the BMW. Very solid drive from both these drivers here. And Tom P3, pretty solid drive as well from him. He was in the contention for leading for the race, but with little fuel saving he wasn't able to do so, and such a shame. Ozone only 1.8 seconds behind. He could potentially snap a podium, but unless there's a catastrophic mistake, I don't think he will be able to. Gap coming down pretty quick though. Doses in P5 was on the front row of the grid here, but he should be relatively happy with that finish. Kazi P6 and Eos in P7, Pepe in P8, and look at this fight we got here between the 911, the Audi, and Manta for P8 here. I don't think Spud's going to be able to get onto Pepe there. Good little fight at the back there, but Russell takes it. His first win of the season in that Mercedes. Seuss comes in with P2, and Tajar, Tom, is going to come through for a podium finish. I think that's his first podium of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So a very good drive from him. He will be a bit gutted not to get the race win there, but a very good job. Ozone in P4, Dosis will come in for P5. But if you look right to the line here, is Kazi going to get a good enough run here on Yos? I don't think he's going to be able to pull out. He pulls out to the outside. It's going to be a photo finish as they come to the line. Oh, I think he just got it. Kazi by 5 thousandths of a second there takes P6 away from Yos. Yos will be gutted. Such a shame from him. Pepe will finish P8. And I believe Manta, as Manta cruises to the line there, runs out of fuel on the final lap. And same with Spud. Yeah, Kazi, 5 thousandths. Such a shame for Yos. I think he was in the lead of those two there. But yeah, very, very good race. Not gonna lie, that was a very, very good race to watch and a very good race to commentate.
He's a Grand Prix with it.
Nice work, Lewis. Excellent race, mate. Get in there, Lewis. In there, Lewis, boy. Beautiful work. Lovely managed race.
Right, we're away for the reverse grid sprint. So Spud in pole position. Pepe takes P1 into T1 there, and he leads the pack away for this race. This is a very interesting race. I always like the reverse grid sprint races. You know, much shorter, and there's a lot more action because you've got all the guys from the back coming through the rest of the field. For example, we got Russell, Tom, and Suze right at the back, and whoever those front three lead and get through the pack the quickest normally go on to win the race. So what Pepe needs to do now is he just needs to stay clear of any danger, any threats behind him. He can just build a gap, really. You know, he's a pretty quick driver, is Pepe. So we've got the two Hungarians of Pepe and Manta, the Audis and the BMWs lead the pack down towards T1 for the second lap here. But if you look at the back of the grid, Russell, Tom and Suze haven't made much ground. They haven't done a Tamworth all the way up to P1 for lap 3, so they've still got work to do this race. Oh, and Suski's off. Suski's off, and he's in the wall there. He's off, and he's hit the grass. And he just comes on the track. Tom will get a very nice exit here. And when he pulls to the inside and make for the move down to the hairpin, it'll be very crucial for him to get ahead. Sus goes to the inside and defends the racing line. Tom's going to have to swing all the way around the outside and just about keeps on the track there, nearly going flying off into the grass. But that was a very, very lucky escape there. Tom nearly went off into the wall, and same for Susk as well. Could have been spun around there, he could have been last. But Russell now, right in the back of Sir Spud in 911, pulls to the outside. He's going to have to swing around the outside here. I think Sir Spud putting the car down to a lower engine mode here. As Russell's going to go for a move down the inside, he thinks about it. Dosis has it covered, but Dosis is a quick driver. And the battle for the top 3 is well and truly on here. We have Pepe under attack from Manta and Lozone here. These 3 drivers only separated by 7 tenths, so they're going to have to try and work together here to try and maintain that gap of 1.2 seconds. And Russell nearly looking for a dive down the inside of Dosis there. And he's on his outside. He won't be able to get a move done there unless he gets a good exit. I'd just tuck into the slipstream if I was in here, get a good exit onto the back straight, and he's pretty much pushing him for the final corner there. Dab of the brakes. Oh, when he hits the wall, and that's going to make his life just that bit worse. He's going to drop a bit of time back there. But Pepe's in the lead as we're into lap 4 here. A 107.9 from the Hungarian, and Manta in P2. You're trying to swing around the outside? Surely not. He's got really close to the back of that R8 though, to be fair. But these 3 fight for the race lead here. And the likes of Dosis and Russell are coming into it as well. So the top 5 only separated by 2.3 seconds. And any one of those could win this race. If they just stay consistent, they'll be in for a very, very good chance of doing so. And Ozone now tucked up to the back of Manta in that Mercedes. And Pepe hanging on to this race lead with both hands here, just about staying ahead of the BMW. The BMW is within that magical 410 zone. He will get pretty close to the back of Pepe here down this back straight. Don't think it'll be enough if he can get close here for the final straight. He's going to probably pull out. Where's he going to go? Around the outside. He's going to swing around the outside if he can do. But he's going to overcut that corner. And he maintains E2 there. Can't find a way past. But now Ozone has Dosis and Russell. The battle for the race lead has just got very, very interesting, and this gap now is only 1.9 seconds between top 5. Pepe leading them through into the second sector here as we just hit under 10 minutes. And Ozone's hit the wall there on the outside. Dosis will go through along with Russell. And now Russell will see if he can find a way past the BMW. The Swede, who's been fighting with the pole in the qualifying session, can't get away past that BMW pretty quick in a straight line, it seems. And Russell, he's going to try and swing around the outside. He goes late on the brakes. And there's contact, and he gets the move done. What a great move from Russell there. Around the outside. And Ozone gets past as well. Has Dosis completely backed off, or no, he's still going? Ozone gets past as well. So 2 positions gone in 2 corners there for the Swede. No, Dosis is back up to P4. I thought Ozone got past there. Well, Pepe and Manta have pulled out a bit of a gap to Russell. Whether that gap will maintain, it's very hard to see it doing so though. Russell has been on form this weekend, very consistently quick. But the 2 Hungarians, excuse me, 2 Hungarians leading 1-2 here. Pepe and Manta have a gap of just over 2 seconds to Russell behind, but he is closing in that gap. So his first clean lap, Russell. See if he can try potentially challenge these 2 for the race win. But these 2 aren't exactly multi-21 pair. We haven't got a Vettel-Weber situation going on. These 2 will probably be racing for the race win here. No team orders at R2R. Pepe and Manta are pretty great drivers, to be fair. Pepe with that podium at Interlagos a few rounds back. So Manta has a gap of just under 1.8 seconds. Russell taking 2 temps out within that lap. And Dosis peels off into the pits for his first stop. Going to the end there on these super soft tyres. Just under 7 minutes to go here. That's Pepe and Manta. Single file formation. I tell you, if they can get a 1-2, it'll be very, very good for that team. Both in the same esports racing team, the 2 Hungarians. But the gap is coming down, it's coming down at a pretty alarming rate. Manta very low on fuel, and Pepe isn't much better off either. Actually, to be fair, he has got a tiny bit more fuel than Russell. But Manta will be diving in this lap to refuel, get off those tyres. As he grazes the wall there, both drivers. As Manta peels off into the pits to serve his pit stop. Both drivers in then. Pepe will be out first as he has more fuel. He saved a lot more fuel, to be honest. I suppose he doesn't have to completely... oh my god. Doesn't have to completely fill up and fuel as well. They haven't got 10 laps to go, so... as you see, he's only put in half a tank. and comes out in P2. But it needs to be a very, very quick lap here for Pepe. He needs to get a good outlap and maintain his lead to Russell. The gap was coming down when they came to the pits, so it's going to be interesting. So Manta coming out the final corner, is he going to come out ahead of Tom in pit lane? Tom has just been released by his pit crew. I believe Tom is going to take the lead here of this race. I think, not Tom, Russell's taking the lead of the race. I think Tom could potentially be trying a no-stop. You have to put that car into a very, very low fuel setting though. Like a 5 or a 6, but still. I think that's what his plan is. His tyres, you see, he's on a soft compound tyre, so he is trying this one stop. Whether it's working or not, don't really know. But he is in for a podium because P3 is on here, and the gap to Pepe behind is 2.2. So Tom, ooh, dear me, this no stop isn't gonna work. I don't think so. It's gonna be very close. He's gonna be on like 1% of fuel. He'll have to do another lap though. Have to do another 2 laps though. Pepe's gonna dive one down the inside there, is he? No. But I believe Russell is cruising to another race win here. It's going to be Tower 2. With 2 laps to go here, including this one. But the PE battle for P2 is not for over. Suzu with a 0.3 second time penalty, and Tom is dropping through the field here. Obviously probably in a very, very low power mode, which is completely fair enough. Tried a no stop. And if he finishes higher than where he started, it is a positive for him. Just made the call there to stay out. Whether he'll have enough fuel, I don't think he will. He needs to change it up, a short shift, everything, lift and coast. He's gonna have this lap. Oh, he's gonna be so close if he actually finishes the race. But anyway, the battle for P2. Suzuka's got ahead of Manta and P3 there. He has a 0.3 second time penalty, and Dosis runs wide there in the background in the BMW. Whether Suzuka's going to be able to whittle down that penalty, I don't know, or if he's going to be able to just, you know, pull away a bit from Manta. I think he does have the pace over his fellow Hungarian. I'll tell you what though, are they going to be able to Yeah, they'll be right. They'll come across the line. So this will be the final lap. But Russell going for the fastest lap here. Is he going to be able to get it? As he comes around the final corner to complete a hat-trick. Double wins for the Brit in the Mercedes. It's been a very, very good race for him. It's been a very good weekend. A race day for him. Comes across the line. Sue serves his penalty on the line. Who's going to get P2? Oh my god. Yeah, man's got that in the end. Only just though. I swear it's pretty much a... Was that a photo finish? Because they haven't got a delta between them. Oh wow. But yeah, that was a very good fight between those top 5. Yeah, I think... Oh, was it 3 thousandths of a second? Yeah. Wow. So it's another victory in the bag then for Russell. An all-round good day of racing here. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Yeah. I hope to see you all next week, next Thursday. Bissetti. Alright guys. See you next week.